Hello everyone. On today's episode of Meaningful Mondays with Neha, I have a guest who started with hydroponic farming. Well, she started off as a lockdown hobby, but today it's a full-fledged business. I'm sure a lot of you out there, just like me, didn't know what it is all about. So let's just jump into the conversation, have a look at the podcast and find out what is this all about. Hi Simran, welcome to the show. I'm so glad that you could make it and I'm very excited about the conversation today because you're going to discuss something really new. Until I spoke to you, even I didn't know what hydroponic farming is all about. So let's get started. Simran, tell me, how did you come up with this idea?
So because I was a COVID batch, so when I went to apply jobs, everything was shut and I had no opportunities out there. But I was always grown up with a backyard at home. So we had like a lemon tree, a pomegranate tree, mango tree. We used to grow chili, coriander. So I always grew up with plucking them and eating. But during COVID, we really realized like how important it is eating healthy, clean and all that. And we started reading more about farming. Right. My dad was very interested in it and he's like, you know what, he found us something very cool, which is hydroponics.
Okay.
So then we both started talking about it and we realized, let's try it during COVID, like we don't have anything
else to do.
So we were like, we'll try. Yeah. And it really picked up during COVID and we used to get up 5 o'clock in the morning to cut the vegetables because by 12 o'clock, if you remember, Dunzo, everything shuts.
Acha, right, correct. During the COVID, yes, that was the case.
We used to cut everything, sell it by 12, pack everything, and suddenly that COVID passion project just turned into like a full-time
business. Fantastic. Yeah. So, but when you guys started, it was more like for your own use. You started off, and then you thought, okay.
Yeah, it started only for our use, and then we started selling to our close family, friends, and then we slowly the word of mouth spreads in Chennai because as Chennai is a very small city.
True.
Yeah.
Oh, so then that's how you got this idea, and then you guys jumped into it.
Yes.
That sounds really interesting, Simran. So tell me, I'm sure just like me, a lot of viewers out there would want to know actually what is the difference between hydroponic farming and the regular soil farming that we talk about, like, generally how people grow crops.
So the biggest difference between hydroponic farming and your normal farming is this is soilless farming. It's grown without any soil.
Oh.
So like people will be thinking, how do we grow? So it's grown in a water bed, which is called an NFT. So the water circulates 24/7, but it's the same water which will keep going and the plant will only absorb how much water they want, how much nutrients they want.
Okay.
So it's a very systematic farming, whereas traditional farming is done a lot on soil,
right,
and everything, and it depends on a lot on the nature.
Correct.
Whereas hydroponic depends nothing on the nature because it's a controlled environment.
Oh, so you're saying that rain, sunlight, and like these natural factors are not required in hydroponic?
The natural factors are not required, but one factor that plays a role, which is outside, is the humidity.
Okay.
So, but that also we try controlling the humidity inside the farm.
So basically, you do it in a closed box kind of a thing, is it?
It's a proper greenhouse.
Okay.
Which is closed with, and if you say in lame language, there's air condition also. Because we specialize in crops which are not grown in Chennai or India weather. Like if you say kale or bok choy, rocket leaf, you don't get it in Chennai, grown locally.
Got it.
For the longest time, we used to get exported.
Right.
Yeah, so we grow them locally. So for that crops, you need a temperature which is not in Chennai. So we have these controlled, like you say, AC, fan, everything running.
So basically the climate is controlled by you. So the whole idea is like you don't rely on the natural resources as such.
Yes.
So be it rain, flood, anything in Chennai, your crops can grow.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Simran, now tell me, like in this particular farming style, how do you guys control pests? Are there any pests at all? Do they happen, or then how do you go about it? Because in the fertile soil thing, so this is a bigger issue. Like many times the crops get completely waste and they have to throw it because of the pests.
So that's a very good question. So in terms of hydroponic farming, it's prevention and not cure.
Okay.
So once if the pest attacks, we need to completely destroy.
Oh.
But I would say comparatively we have way lesser pests because we don't do soil and we don't use fertilizers. That's why, because we don't need to do that. But one thing is that we do in a controlled temperature. We do not allow much human touch. Our people who are a part of our farm, they are fully having gloves, geared up, because when they come out and in, we sanitize everything.
Okay.
Because once one pest comes, because it's a very small field. It's not a field where it's huge. It's a
Correct.
terrace or a small land where you can grow a lot of crops.
Right.
So even if there is pest, it really spreads.
Okay.
So we try maintaining a lot of hygiene level to control them.
So basically pests can happen, but the only way that you can not have them is just to prevent by doing it. But tell me one thing, do you actually use any kind of, like, you know, they say now in normal veggies and all that, now when we talk about organic, and now we're talking about a different hydroponic produce that you are into. So what is the, like, you know, these organic vegetables and this, are they completely pest free? Is what is organic, or they claim to be?
So there are a lot of people who claim to be,
Right.
but in terms of if they have a certificate, yes, then they are organic, because the governments are very strict on organic rules.
All right.
Yeah, but if you tell hydroponic, we don't claim organic, because according to government, only farmers who are going with traditional farming method can claim organic.
Okay.
So hydroponic can't claim organic.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. So, but you're saying the produce that you do is also organic. You can call it logically organic, or
So
no?
no, we don't use any pesticides and all, but we do have nutrients in the water,
Okay.
which the plants absorb.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why it's different from organic. Whereas in this they use pesticides and all. We don't use pesticides at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just for my understanding in clarity, and I'm sure for all the audience out there as well, you say when people say they are giving certified organic vegetables, is what they mean that's absolutely zero pesticides, absolutely nothing, and it's just a fresh produce.
It depends, okay. It really depends from vendor to vendor.
Okay.
There are genuinely people who do sell, like our mango vendor from maybe decades and years, but generationally they sell organic mangoes. So they have over the year process of checking and everything. But there are a lot of people who come and tell, you know, ma'am, we're doing organic only for certificate here. But then they would have done organic last season,
Right.
but this season you don't know what they're doing.
Oh.
So that way there are chances.
But
if people do claim a certificate, there is a possibility they're doing proper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Simran. So now tell me, see, after getting these details from you, it's really something, you know, enlightening. How has your journey been so far? Now you are about 3-4 years in this business.
Yes.
And how has the whole experience been at Fresh Bliss, which is your brand? And how do you think about it and going forward?
It's been a very, very overwhelming journey. We've had doubts some days, we've had some biggest achievements some days, but I think it's been an amazing journey, because something which is very new to me also, I learned a lot in this journey. I started off right after college, so everything was new. From even growing, it was just first growing and selling.
Right.
Suddenly this turned into a business. When it turns into a business, it's a different ball game. You need
Altogether,
to,
very true.
And then it started, when I think I started realizing that I want to do this full time is when I started getting customer reviews.
Right.
I think that has been my biggest cheerleaders from day one. I have customers who've been buying for the last 4 years, and they personally know me. When I was getting married, they asked me, "Is the boy from Chennai? Because tell me that you're not shutting the business and going anywhere." I was like, "No, I'm here only. Don't worry." They've all messaged me that.
Right.
Some customers have sent me gifts also. They've never met me.
Right.
They've just been ordering, and they've just sent me gifts saying that, you know what, you made our house a better place. Like so many veggies we've been getting from you last so many years. So we want to give you a thank you. And I was like, that was such a sweet gesture.
Right.
So I think my journey in Fresh Bliss has been too good to
And it's sometimes very, as you rightly said, at the end of the day, what matters is, when you're really happy about something, and when people kind of come back to you and say it's like a good job, that appreciation really matters.
Definitely. I think that appreciation is something which I think my one USP is the quality.
Right.
I make sure that every customer who orders from me gets the best. Quality in terms of their greens or their fruits or anything.
Right.
I make sure they get whatever it is the best, and it's clean, fresh, it's farm to actual customers. It's not come over 10 modes of transport to you.
Right.
That's why the freshness also is maintained.
So you don't have the middleman in between, basically. No. So it's just directly taken and then delivered to the customer.
Right.
Yes. Tell me one thing. Now, when we talk about, in today's setup, when we talk about organic vegetables, or when we talk about anything which is apart from what we're getting at the store.
Yes.
Okay. The pricing, of course, gets hiked up, and it is at a different level. So how do you manage that gap? Does hydroponic farming also come into that category? Of course, because you're having a different setup altogether, completely water, nutrients, and all that. So if you could just throw a little light on that.
So yeah, I mean it would be maybe a little bit different compared to your normal veggies, like
Right.
a premium pricing.
Right.
But that's what you have to decide, that you want to play Dr. Bills or do you want to like buy veggies which are more cleaner and not pesticide.
Right.
It's a decision that you want to make.
Right.
But I would understand where people come with the mindset saying, oh my god, why are they charging expensive? Because
Right.
you know, it's a full setup, it's a controlled temperature, 24 hours of running, and where if I would justify for organic farmers also.
So we are a very cost conscious economy, right?
Yes.
All of, I mean, as Indians, we are
Yeah.
a lot into it. But I liked what you said, that, you know, instead of paying the doctor ka bill later,
Yeah.
it's a good idea ki, you know, you can actually make what you're eating itself
Clean.
more clean and
Yeah.
fresh, so that you can actually later avoid
I mean, it
that.
really matters. What you take is what your body
Very
is
true.
going to like absorb.
Very
But I
true.
would also say, if you notice, it's not a price which is day and night difference.
Acha.
Yeah, it would be hardly any difference if you notice.
Okay.
Is that what you said is right? That people need to get educated on what they're buying. I think it's a more on that concept which we need to understand.
Right.
Because like if you get a normal lettuce and a hydroponic lettuce, people won't think, oh, what's the difference? Like it's the same maybe.
Right.
But that's when people need to be educated, and I think the biggest education they need to understand is to read the labels of every product they're buying.
True, I agree. That was quite a bit of information, Simran. I'm really, I would say now, you know, very knowledgeable about the whole concept. Anybody coming to me, I think I can, you know, take them on a ride, and I can forward them to you saying that, you know, go to Simran at Fresh Bliss and she'll give you all fresh stuff. Well, that brings me to my last question to you, Simran. Now, please tell me, anybody, you know, like we did discuss about why is it important to have fresh stuff, and, you know, how it kind of goes into your health. But what would be the one thing that you would like to, you know, tell people out there when they are price conscious and when they are still, you know, stringent about कि नहीं हमें तो यही खाना है, and it's not much of a difference, what is the proof and all that.
Yeah.
So that kind of a people, in layman terms, what is the best thing that you can say that, you know, that really works, and then, you know, why should we start into a more healthier format of eating?
So hydroponic is not only healthier for you, but it's also way healthier for the environment.
Okay.
So it's a both way win-win for the consumer. It's a very sustainable farming. Like when I say we use water as our main source,
Right.
we still use 30 to 40% less water than traditional farming.
Okay.
In a small atmosphere, like a small space, we grow more than like 400 crops.
Oh, wow.
Yes, which
Okay.
is a lot of space, like, and we're also saving our soil.
Right.
So that way it's very sustainable. And also the fact that there's no pesticides.
Right.
So the leaf you're eating has not been like sprayed with things
Anything else
and all that.
Right. Lately, in the last almost a year, since when my son started playing tennis, as you said, start reading the pack behind. My husband practically reads every single
Yeah.
line, and he would know how many proteins, how many carbs, and
Because,
everything.
I mean, this is something which is very big in India, which is
Right.
which on the front page there'll be written like no sugar,
And then when you read behind,
your
I agree.
terms of sugars will come out.
Correct.
So in terms of like that also, like in terms of veggies also, you don't know where they've come from, what they've come from,
Correct.
and all that.
On this point, I would like to tell all the viewers out there, guys, it's a very good practice. You know, I also personally have started doing this lately. That, you know, as she said, if the packet front says no sugar, please understand that it doesn't mean that it doesn't have sugar. You have to turn behind, start reading the ingredients, and then you would know whether it's really there. So this is more so for people who generally want to eat, actually, like if they have diabetes or something, and if you genuinely want no sugar, please don't go by the marketing. Please read the fine lines behind, and you will actually get to know what exactly it is.
100%.
Thank you so much, Simran. It was so much fun, you know, chatting with you and getting to know a very different topic altogether, exploring, and actually the current trend, something that is the need of the hour. We are into a phase where, you know, we've just been out of COVID and we need to eat fresh, change our lifestyle, and get into a more better way of eating.
Yes.
So thank you so much. It was pleasure having you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me also. It's a great way to educate people on what is different and new coming up. But I'm pretty sure, I feel like now and more people are getting aware of different farming methods, different ways of eating, healthy eating,
Right.
and all of that.
I'm sure all of you have understood the importance of having fresh stuff, green stuff, and she was able to highlight the differences between the regular farming and what exactly this concept is all about and how it is beneficial. So do let me know how you like the podcast, how did you enjoy, how this helped you in, clearing a little bit of space in terms of, the mindset that we have of organic vegetables and pesticide vegetables that we use today. So do let me know what more you would want to see on my podcast. Until then, it's me, Neha, saying bye.